Milan, can we talk for a minute? Huh? Nia? What is this about? It's been a while since we last talked. How have you been? Yeah, I guess it has. So what's the deal? Why are you suddenly acting all friendly and casual like this? We were never that close. What are you talking about, Milan? We used to be on a first-name basis. We started using first names just because we sat near each other in one class back in college. You kept chatting with me out of nowhere and insisted I call you by your name. Honestly, I don't remember us being particularly close, so what do you want? Wow, so I was the only one who thought we were close? We hung out together, you know. You mean that one time you were at a group date my friend invited me to? I don't even remember talking to you there. There you go again, saying things like that. Well, it's true. Anyway, if you're not getting to the point, I'm done responding. This is starting to feel like a waste of time. I didn't know you were this cold. No wonder you can't understand other people's feelings. What's that supposed to mean? Did I do something to you? Because last I checked, we haven't even seen each other since graduation. Yeah, I know. I haven't actually spoken to you since then. I just happened to see you. What do you mean? I wanted to talk about Caleb. Caleb? How do you even know about him? Oh, I figured you wouldn't know. Well, Caleb and I are childhood friends. Childhood friends? Yeah, we grew up in the same neighborhood. We went to middle school together. He even confessed to me back then. Really? And? Well, I turned him down. I didn't think he was quite good enough for me at the time. Oh, okay. Anyway, I was back home during the last holiday, and guess what? Caleb was visiting his parents, too. We ran into each other completely by chance. Doesn't that sound like fate? Not really. You're so cold. But you know what? Even I didn't think much of it at first. Yeah, well, Caleb hasn't really changed much. He's had the same face for years. Let me guess, you were drawn to his looks? Wait, how did you know? You're not even going to deny it? I just remembered seeing someone at that group date who ignored everyone else just to chase after the best-looking guy there. You annoyed him so much that he tried to avoid you. Well, that's harsh. You're making me sound like some shallow girl who only cares about appearances. I mean, yeah, I used to be like that, but this is different. Caleb's special. He's kind and easy to talk to. So what? Is that why you're contacting me? What does this have to do with me and Caleb? I confessed to him, okay? I told him how I felt, but he turned me down. Said he was already seeing someone. Then yesterday I saw him walking with you, and I realized you're the one he's dating. Took you long enough to figure that out. Honestly, I barely remember what you look like. Even as a joke, that's kind of mean, but whatever. Caleb's nice though, isn't he? I wasn't joking, and yeah, I guess he's nice enough, but what's your point? I mean, think about it. Even after I confessed, he still rejected me properly. He didn't make excuses or try to sneak around. He actually respected the person he's with, even if he doesn't really love her. That's sweet, right? Wait, what did you just say? That he's sweet? No, the part where you said, even if he doesn't really love her. Are you seriously talking about me? Yeah, obviously. And what exactly makes you think that? Because he confessed to me before. Why would he suddenly be in love with someone else? Clearly, he's just dating you because he couldn't get over me. Are you serious right now? Of course I'm serious. He's always liked me. Why would that change? I doubt he's met anyone more attractive than me since then. Wow, you are unbelievable. You really think the world just pauses for you, huh? It's not like that. I'm just being realistic. I mean, back then Caleb was so obvious about how much he liked me. He couldn't even talk to me without stumbling over his words. His face would turn red just by standing next to me. Do you really think feelings like that just disappear? Yeah, it's called moving on. People do it all the time. I don't buy it. He's just pretending with you. Maybe he's just tired of being single, or maybe you're just convenient. I mean, no offense, but Caleb's way out of your league. There's no way he's really into you. Right? And I'm sure you telling yourself that makes you feel better. You know what? Fine. Believe whatever you want, but you should know when I talked to Caleb, we actually had a great conversation. He remembered so much about me. Stuff I didn't even think he'd still remember. He remembered my favorite color, the old nickname my friends used to call me, even the way I used to tie my hair back in middle school. Doesn't that say something? Yeah, it says that Caleb's polite enough not to ignore you. It doesn't mean he's secretly in love with you. You're being ridiculous. You can't seriously believe he's really over me. I can and I do. Look, if you think Caleb's still stuck on you, that's your problem, but don't drag me into your little fantasy. It's not a fantasy. Caleb and I have a history. You're just some phase. He's with you now because he's unsure of himself. Once he realizes that, he'll come back to me. If you really believe that, then why are you even calling me? If you're so confident that Caleb's going to leave me for you, why are you wasting your time trying to convince me? Because I wanted to warn you. I thought you deserved to know that you're just a placeholder. I figured if you had any self-respect, you'd walk away before you got hurt. Wow, that's rich coming from you. Here's a better idea. How about you deal with your own rejection like an adult instead of pretending you're trying to help me? Caleb told you no. Maybe you should try respecting that instead of acting like you're entitled to him. I'm not acting entitled. You're literally telling me to break up with my boyfriend because you think you're somehow guaranteed to win him back. That's pathetic. I'm just being honest. I'm trying to help you. No, you're trying to make yourself feel better. You want to believe that Caleb only rejected you because of me, not because he's just not interested in you anymore. That's the truth you can't face. That's not true. If you're so sure Caleb still wants you, go ahead and keep waiting for him. But I'll tell you right now, Caleb's not coming back to you. He's with me now and he's happy, so whatever little story you're telling yourself, it's not real. What? Nothing. No, seriously, don't give me that. What's going on? I told you it's nothing. Forget it. You know, I've been thinking. You're only dating Caleb because you forced yourself on him, right? I bet you cornered him, made him feel like he couldn't say no. Caleb's far too nice for his own good, so I am sure you just pressured him until he gave in. Wow. You really believe that? No. Caleb's the one who asked me out. Yeah, right. Don't act like I'm stupid. I already know what really happened. No, you don't. Not even close. Look, this is what I really wanted to say. Oh boy, here we go. What is it this time? I want you to break up with Caleb. What? You heard me. I want you to break up with him. Yeah, no. What? Why not? Because this is insane. Why would I break up with my boyfriend just because you told me to? Because you're just in the way. Caleb doesn't really love you. He's just too nice to say it. He's trying not to hurt your feelings, that's all. So if you actually cared about him, you'd let him go. And what makes you think I'd just take your word for that? Because Caleb loves me. He always has. And I love him too. If you weren't in the picture, we'd be together already. Face it, he's practically my boyfriend. You're just temporary. You're actually serious right now, aren't you? Of course I'm serious. I've been waiting long enough. Just break up with him already. Okay, wow. Listen, let me make this crystal clear. I am not breaking up with Caleb because you've got some weird fantasy about him. Whatever you've been telling yourself, it's not real. If you won't break up with him, then we're not friends anymore. Are you okay? Seriously, we were never friends to begin with. So, yeah, I guess we're done now. Tragic. Don't say that. We've always been friends. Do you want to be friends or do you not want to be friends? Pick one already, because I am honestly not interested either way. Just break up with him already. He deserves someone like me, not you. Mind if I ask you something? What now? You said Caleb isn't even your type, right? That you weren't really into his looks at first? Yeah, so? So what changed? I don't know. We were talking and I found out he's the CEO of his company now. He's not that much older than me either, and honestly, I was surprised. I didn't think someone our age could already be that successful. Ah, got it. So it's the money. Yeah, that makes sense. You know what? I'll give you credit for being upfront about it. At least you're honest in your own twisted way. Oh, please, don't make it sound like that. Money's important, but it's not everything. But it matters. I'm not going to apologize for wanting some security. Right, except you were just saying Caleb's the love of your life. Sounds like what you actually love is his paycheck. That's not fair. I really do love him. Right. You love Caleb. Just the version of him that happens to have a fat bank account. That's not true. Be honest with yourself. If Caleb wasn't a CEO, if he was just some regular guy working a 9-to-5 job, you wouldn't even give him the time of day. That's not true. Sure, whatever you say. Nia. What now? Do you know someone named May? She's your friend, right? The one who invited us to that outing a while back? Yeah, I know her. Why? Well, May told me something interesting the other day. She said one of her friends recently got scammed, tricked into racking up debt by some guy. Sound familiar? Yeah, that was me. I figured. So you're drowning in debt, and now you're trying to use Caleb as your safety net. Makes sense. It's not like that. Oh, really? What else am I supposed to think? You suddenly fell in love right after finding out Caleb's successful? Please. That's not fair. You don't know what I've been through. I know enough, and since we're talking about Caleb, want to hear something interesting he told me? What did he say? He mentioned something from middle school, said there was this dumb prank he got roped into once. Some stupid dare where he had to confess to a younger girl as a joke. Wait, what? Yeah, apparently it was this ridiculous prank. Confess to someone and see how they react. Caleb told me he felt horrible about it afterward, said he still feels guilty to this day. Even though he ended up getting rejected, it stuck with him. Said it made him realize how hurtful it is to mess with someone's feelings like that. And what's your point? My point is, Caleb's been played before. He knows what it feels like to be strung along. You really think he's dumb enough to fall for your act? That's not. And that's not all. When Caleb visited home recently, he said something else. What did he say? He mentioned running into some girl on his way back. Said she started clinging to him out of nowhere, kept going on about how they were childhood friends or something. He said she practically threw herself at him and then confessed like she was doing him a favor. That can't be. That was you, wasn't it? You seriously thought you could just show up, bat your eyelashes, and have him fall into your lap? I didn't think. Oh, I know you didn't think. That's exactly the problem. Whatever you convinced yourself was happening, that wasn't reality. It was all in your head. No, it can't be. Hate to break it to you, but Caleb's not interested. He never was. And honestly, if this whole thing was just about digging up a rich guy to fix your money problems, that's just pathetic. Shut up. You don't know what I've been through. Don't act like you're better than me. You're right. I don't know what you've been through, but I know this. Caleb doesn't owe you anything. If you've really got the time to cause scenes like this, maybe you should put that energy toward figuring out how to pay off your debt. And while you're at it, stay away from Caleb. He doesn't need your mess dragging him down. After that, I didn't hear anything from her for a while. At first, I wondered if it was just temporary, like maybe she was taking some time to sort through everything, to process what had happened. But as days turned into weeks, I started to realize that she had completely distanced herself. It was almost as though she had vanished without a trace. The silence was deafening, and it left me with a feeling of uncertainty, not just about her, but about what had transpired between us all. It wasn't until later that I heard from May. She had gotten some details about what had happened to her after our last encounter. Apparently, she had thrown herself into trying to pay off the debts that had been hanging over her head. She must have been desperate, as we all can be when faced with financial pressures. But instead of finding a way out, her attempts had only made things worse. In her rush to solve that problem, she had ended up accumulating even more debt, spiraling deeper into the hole she had already dug for herself. The realization hit me hard. Debt is not something to be taken lightly. It can entrap people in ways they don't even anticipate. I had known that financial struggles were a reality for many people, but hearing how much she had gotten caught in it made me realize just how easy it is for someone to fall victim to a vicious cycle. It made me reflect on how dangerous debt really is. It doesn't just affect your bank account, it affects your peace of mind, your sense of security, and your mental health. The worry, the constant anxiety about how to make ends meet, how to pay off what you owe, it's overwhelming. And I could see how quickly it can spiral, how someone can make one bad decision after another while trying to dig themselves out, only to end up even further in the hole. I was thankful that I had never been in that position, but hearing May's account made me more aware of how easily it can all unravel. May also told me that one of the worst parts of it all was that she had been tricked. In her desperation, she had fallen victim to a scam, someone who promised to help her get back on track only to make things worse. I couldn't help but feel a sense of anger and frustration. People who take advantage of others when they're most vulnerable are the worst kinds of predators. Scams like that are an unfortunate reality for so many, and I felt a strange mixture of sympathy and concern for her. She had been in such a difficult place that she couldn't even see the manipulation happening right in front of her. I have always known that people like that exist, but Hearing how easily they could exploit someone made me more cautious in the future. It's scary how quickly trust can be shattered, how quickly one's life can be altered in the worst way possible when they least expect it. Despite everything, I had already moved on from the chaos that surrounded her. At that point, I had made a decision to marry the man I loved. We were in a stable place now, with no more uncertainty clouding our future. There was no fear of being tricked into something like a marriage scam because I knew my partner was someone I could trust completely. We had already been through so much together, and our relationship had only grown stronger. His business had finally become successful after years of hard work, and it was because of that success that he felt confident enough to propose to me. I couldn't have been happier. It wasn't just the proposal itself that made me feel so confident. It was the culmination of everything we had worked through together. His hard work, determination, and loyalty to me were qualities that I admired deeply. I had seen the highs and lows of his journey, and I was proud to stand by him through it all. His success wasn't just his own, it was ours. It felt like the reward for all the time we had invested into each other, for all the faith we had placed in one another. As I reflected on everything, it struck me just how differently things had turned out for both of us. While she had continued to struggle, constantly battling against the tide of her own choices, I had managed to find peace and stability. I had built a life with someone I could count on, someone who loved me unconditionally, and I was now preparing to marry him. The contrast between our situations was stark, and it made me think about the decisions I had made in my own life, how they had led me to where I was today. There was something deeply humbling in realizing how our choices, whether big or small, shaped our lives. In some ways, I almost felt a sense of guilt about how things had turned out. I didn't wish for her to suffer, but at the same time, I knew that her situation was a result of her own actions. She had made reckless choices, trusted the wrong people, and ultimately found herself alone and burdened by debts she couldn't handle. It was a harsh lesson, but one that I think she would have to learn on her own. The more I thought about it, the more I realized that there was nothing more I could do for her. Sometimes you have to let people face the consequences of their actions, no matter how hard that may be. And while I couldn't change her fate, I knew that I was in control of my own future. I had worked hard to get where I was, and I was not going to let anything, or anyone, ruin the happiness I had found. I had learned so much from the past, lessons about trust, responsibility, and the importance of making careful decisions. And with those lessons, I was moving forward, ready to start a new chapter with the man I loved. Thank you for watching and listening. We hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Also, feel free to leave a comment about what you thought of the story. We look forward to seeing you at the next story.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and hit the like button. See you next time.